Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. A great big thank you to Sydney Sawanu Lindiwe Mnerenyu, of course, chairman of Harare province, holding fort in the commentary box. Sydney, we're about to witness a blockbuster encounter here. Two teams that have got a lot to prove, and everything is at stake. For Old Hararians, not so much. They will qualify to the semi-finals regardless of the result here, but more importantly, it's about positioning. For Old Georgians, all to play for. Win and you're in. That's as simple as that. Now, getting into this game, Sid, the expectation is that both sides are going to give their all.
Yes, of course, these teams came to play, and there's no doubt that each and every one of these guys are thinking of getting that precious W right here at Prince Edward, the fortress of the Tigers, in the famous Jubilee Rugby Field. So yeah, I'm so happy to see, our stands, they are full to the brim. And of course, the squad, most people are still making their way here at Prince Edward. But it's good to see, the development of rugby, all shapes and sizes, all colors are here at Prince Edward. And you can tell that these guys, they're about to annihilate each other.
Oh, yes, indeed. Of course, when it comes to Old Georgians, a bit more of a star-studded side, but that really hasn't lived up to the billing this season. And then you look at Old Hararians, who are not too short of some stardust among themselves as well. The likes of Tatena Kamvumbi, Shondo, who have been doing really well, but also there have been some other names that have come under the radar, other names that they've been able to recruit as the season has gone on, and that has also made them a very formidable force. Old Hararians, quite unfortunate to have lost last week against the Pitbulls. They put in their all, but the Pitbulls had the bigger bite. As for Old Georgians, they managed to sneak in a win.
Well, it was not that unfortunate. Pitbulls, they are the best team in the league right now, and remember they've won it 7 out of 10 times. And just coming back to what is happening on the field of play, Old Hararians just not, playing, intelligent rugby. What you don't want is to be stuck in that 22.
One of the key players, I believe, who's back in the lineup for Old Georgians is their scrum half, Dylan Gamil. I think is a very key component in terms of getting the ball to move forward. Looking at the general lineup now, we're looking at the likes of Tinoru Sike move to first center, PK Manyakara coming in at second center, and Old Georgians here finding some space, but Old Hararians are managing to do the necessary in terms of taking him down. Still on the prowl to get it, decides to give it to Shama Jackson. A little bit of a shimmy. He's finding his way through, but not able to gain as much momentum as he would like. Dylan Gamil sends it out once again. Met a brick wall of Marasta there. Tinoru Sike sends it out. And it looks like going into contact once again. Looking to build. Rusike seems to be the first receiver and desires to go into contact, and quite lucky to be able to gain a penalty out of that piece of play. But again, there has been quite a bit of criticism, Sydney, as to some of the play of Old Georgians, maybe going for hits too much, not really using their expansive wings and their quick feet that they do have within the back line. Also, do you feel that it is maybe the weight of expectation on their shoulders to actually deliver, impressive results?
Look, I think the key area for these guys, what they need to do is to work as a team. Because it seems as if everyone, wants to live up to expectations. You have star-studded players. 8 of these youngsters have played for either Zimbabwe under 20 or Zimbabwe under 18. So they just need to find each other, work through their attacking patterns, work as a unit. That's what is important. But I feel that there's too much of individualism, and like what you've said, whoever wants to get the ball is not playing for the team, wants to play for himself.
100%. Well, Old Georgians have drawn first blood with that penalty by Tafadzwa Tigere, so that sends them into a 3-0 lead, and Old Hararians now obviously will be looking to respond. Here comes a high hanging kick, well taken by PK. Needs to be a bit careful there. Number 14, from Old Hararians. Tigere decides to go for a kick upfield. It's bobbling a little, but goes to Kamvumbi. Let's see what special stardust he has. He decides to go over the top. Well taken. Out to Tinorusike. He decides to go into contact. Well, gets the pass across, and Old Georgians almost finding a way through there. A bit of a hit, and obviously amuses the crowd and allows Old Georgians to be on the front foot. So looking a bit more assured of themselves at the moment, and it seems like as if Tinorusike will be used as the first receiver at each and every point. Is that the smartest move?
Well, Tino, I mean, he's a decent fly-half. I can't say that he's the best. Maybe to all Georgians, it's more of trying to use, two playmakers, playing inside center and fly-half at the same time, hoping just to create something. But I don't see Tino as a the first pick for a fly-half. Now, looking into the bigger picture now, the Zim Under-20 obviously will be hosting the Bathurst Trophy soon. Is he the best fly-half that we should pick for the Junior Sabres? That's the question that we should be posing.
Well, I will endeavor not to answer that one lest I be slaughtered in the comment section. But I think what will be key is that Sean D'Souza ultimately makes the call at the end of the day, and we hope that it is the right call. But talking about the technical bench, obviously, people that have been around the rugby circles for a while, the likes of Shelton Chuswa, Tichafara Makwanya, we'll be seeing him in action, hopefully maybe a little bit later on, a legendary fly-up. Oh, they find the gap. All Georgians are on their way. I'm not so sure why he cut back inside. A pick and go there. Tinorusike was the first one to arrive, but it looks like it was held up. Try-line fever it may have been, but I do feel that was an opportunity. Maybe if he had run a straight line, I think he was going to make it all the way through.
Well, maybe just he ran out of gas there, Wimbo. But look, great passage of play coming in from all Georgians. But like what I said, it's good to see that Nwadige, their eighth man, just breaking through the lines. Unfortunately, we can't say he played badly because he looked for that option to pass. And however, the guy was coming in, he was held up in the tackle. But Old Hararians now just trying to go for that in-goal kick, but it only travels up to the 22. That's not where it intended to go. Because what you want is to relieve pressure. And from your 5 meters, if you can only kick 17 meters, that's not good enough.
Yes, 100% in that regard. And I think Old Hararians here need to be careful of digging themselves into a hole. Now, Wayne Nashe, he is a fly-off, was a fly-off of note. He's getting his line-outs quite perfect today. Deciding to go into a bit of contact there using one of their loose heads. Dylan Gamil giving some quick ball, and that's giving go forward to all Georgians. Can they make it all the way through? And oh well, looks like it's a penalty. I'm not so sure if it was a double movement on the ground there, but a much improved performance at the present moment. Yes, it's early days, but a much improved performance, and I will still argue that it is all courtesy of Dylan Gamil.
Well, you need to take these opportunities as they come, Rimbo. They've butchered so far 2 opportunities. One was held up. This one was double movement. I think that you should turn all this pressure into points. Remember, you are playing to survive, to at least make it into the knockout stages. But now, if you don't apply yourselves when these opportunities come, it means that you're going to be in big trouble.
100%. Sydney, good line out from Old Hararians. At least they get their own line out right. And they've got their small hooker there. Young man who's getting the job done. Oh, but look at that drive from their eighth man. Today, Shondoa has switched roles. He's playing an outside flank. Deciding to go on the outside, deciding to cut back in. Had run out of acreage. Shondoa. Going for a quick pick and go. Ndoa picks it up and trying to build up more in more phases. Well, he breaks out. There's the 8th man. He's a big boy and he's got some really good pace, but he's been met with some serious resistance from Tafadzwa Tigere. Big tackle in there. Here comes Chitendeni, one of the Chitendeni twins, Earl and Ethan, both playing in the side. Oh, Kamvumbi! Kamvumbi! Oh, this boy has got magic feet. Passes it out to Chitendeni. Pops it out. Can they continue to go? Ndoa held up. Now Old Hararians are responding. Well, trying to go in, but Old Georgians are holding on to dear life here, Sydney. Oh, that's a knock on. And it looks like there was cynical play. Referee looked like he was reaching for his pocket. But I think he's going to speak to the boy and say, look, I want a good game. I want a fair game. I want a clean game. Let's not do that. Penalty. Quick tap and go. Referee, I think. Whoa. Well, referee has actually given them a quick tap and go by the scrum half, and it's try time for Old Hararians, and they're in the lead.
Look, great play. The forwards, started this move by just doing that pick and drive, gaining massive yards, and all Georgians, they couldn't stop the pick and go game plan by the Old Hararians, and from there it resulted in a long arm penalty. The smallest man on the field of play. Quick tape. I thought that a moment that was a knock on, but the referee was spot on. Try time, Old Hararians.
Oh yes, 100%, and I do believe that Old Hararians are taking advantage of a penalty advantage that was given, so referee just allowing play to continue from there. Old Georgians caught napping. 5-3 at the moment. Old Hararians go for the kick. Kamvumbi unfortunately doesn't get this one right, so 5-3 is what it will have to be. Now make no qualms about it, we never mentioned that this was going to be an easy come easy go kind of a match. We always knew that it was going to be a tough tussle. Old Georgians know what is at stake, whilst Old Hararians also are looking for the best position.
Look, Rimbo, earlier on, to Old Georgians got 2 opportunities and they butchered them. it only took them 1 chance, and now they are 5 points up. So at the end of the day, if you create chances, you need to take them. But just coming back to what's happening on the field of play, all Georgians were monitoring and chasing for that restart kick. Now Joshua sends it to his forward, and he's a big boy. Unfortunately, his body positioning there was poor, but Joshua with great service, and he finds Tino. And cross kick, who's chasing? Nobody's home, but the referee spotted something earlier, and it looks like it's going to be a scrum to Old Georgians.
Scrum to OGs as a result of a knock-on. So the referee gives that scrum in there. Now, ladies and gentlemen, these boys are massive in size. Very big boys. But generally, what has been your thoughts in terms of Nwadike's performance pretty much within the season for Old Georgians? I think he has been a hard runner, carrying, making good meters as well. And I think he'll definitely be someone that will be up for consideration for the Junior Sables. Dylan Gamil. Old Georgians are struggling, but luckily the ball does come out. Sike, looping run. Oh, beautiful move. Old Georgians on the prowl, looking for a pass out to Shama Jackson. Runs into a bit of traffic. Ball is popped back in. Rusike decides to go into contact. Driven back. Dylan Gamel pushes the ball out. Now trying to build up a couple of phases. Old Hararians will be waiting for that. Nwatike. Oh, well. Goes down quite heavily. But penalty against Old Hararians. A tap and go. And Old Hararians are definitely desperate times, calling for desperate measures. Now trying to go around the fringes, and I'm not so sure if the referee has called for penalty advantage. Now they could use their hands because they've got a massive overlap on this near side. Finally, he decides to step inside. And he goes through, and it looks like the fly-half has gotten the try, and all Georgians back in the lead. As I mentioned before, Sydney, much better, much more fluid, better as a unit.
But I would like to commend the fly-half. The move that he started off in the 22, just identifying space and exploiting it. The forwards played it, tried to attempt for a pick and go, but there he is again in the right position, dieseled and danced into the try line. Ruimbo, what a player.
Oh yes, what a player. Good play by all Georgians. But as we mentioned before, it's not over by a long shot. All Georgians are now leading 8 points to 5, with the conversion yet to come. Ladies and gentlemen, just in case you were wondering, to get a beautiful boot on him. And it looks like today his radar is right on the money. 10 points to 5 is the score. It is just a one-try game, so as we mentioned before, definitely not out of the woods yet, but that's a really good kick from Tigere. Kicks it so delicately and so easily, you would almost think that he's going to miss it, but it just makes its way and sails through. So Old Hararians coming back to the halfway line, kind of wondering, surely should be in a better position.
Yeah, but you mentioned earlier on Jeff Tigere. I mean, the best kickers that we have at this level, we do have, of course, Philip Chimaka, and obviously the player who's not been, who's been exceptional with the highest top point scorer, that is Jinyaza. I mean, it's going to be exciting to see how D'Souza is going to approach it. But here comes Old Hararians, just losing that discipline. Players coming in without shoulders, just completing the tackle. It resulted in a long penalty to Old Georgians.
Oh yes, indeed. That's a late charge there, and I know PK knows this ground very well. Was groomed, raised, and built here, and obviously further developed by St. John's College. Tigere goes for a big kick upfield. Goes past the halfway line. Another line out that these boys will get. And it's key that they get it right. Lineouts are set pieces that are a nightmare to any team, especially when converted into driving mauls and so on. Hard to defend, difficult to deal with. They decide to go for a 2-ball, and that was stolen by Old Hararians. That was pushed back. And so, of course, a ref brings a hold to play. And this was very silly and unnecessary from these two boys.
Yes, the referee is spot on. But obvious credit goes to his third judge who, great game awareness. Now is going to be calling in both players, giving them, or rather this time around, looks like Old Hararians, they are the ones who are being accused of cynical play. And obviously, Wayne Malandu, you know him, he always gets in the thick of things. A very physical player. Represents Zimbabwe with the under-18 academy that played last year. And obviously, he was exceptional for his high school, that is St. John's College. Now the referee just having a discussion with both players. He wants to have none of it, but more players are being called in. So it looks like the referee called the wrong person at the end of the day. So now they're calling the blindside flanker. Now we are still looking for the culprit. So the referee wants this match to be played keeping rugby clean. So, oh no, the referee goes straight in his pocket. Yellow card, yellow card. There you go, guys. Go and just think about what you want to do. and we won't have that on the field of play. So both players with 40 men on the field, and we are going to come back for the first infringement, which is players leaving feet. So now Jeff Tigere is going to kick for touch. He's going to kick for touch and set themselves up for a line-out throw. So, yeah, it's good to see that the referee is just stamping his authority earlier on in this game. But obviously there's a little bit of grumbling and complaining in the coach's technical bench. The Old Hararians players are thinking, no, they called in out the wrong player. But it's good to see that just in front of us, Old Hararians, they do have a good impact bench. Talk of Takuzwa Manjambire, arguably one of the finest players that played. Whoa, what a line by Nwadike. And it takes two Old Hararians players to bring him down. But stolen by Old Hararians. Now OH to clear off their lines. But it seems as if the ball went out right on the 22.
Oh, yes, indeed. And look, I think it is, once again, the power of TMO would be great, but something that we are not yet anywhere near to achieving at the moment. But anyway, the game does go on. Both sides are 14 men. Oh, that looked like a good line out, but it looks like it was knocked forward. And that was as clear as day and picked up by the referee there. Now, that should be arguably the second line out now that all Georgians have missed and now need to really try and zone in and get that one right.
Look, the jumpers, my coach used to say, if you can touch it, you can catch it. So the jumpers, they are just letting the hooker down there. If you can touch the ball, you can catch it, secure it, you know. Obviously, you're going to be under pressure, but, you know, the coaches are there to be helping you. And as well as you do this week in, week out. And this is something that you also need to fix. But just coming back to what is happening on the field of play, we're going to have a scrum. It seems as if all Georgians, they're going to be using 7 players because they do have a flanker who is missing, and it's highly likely that that's going to be a contested scrum. Why? Because all Hararians, they are missing their hooker who is in the same pen, who's just sitting a few, rather 2 meters away from us. So we're just catching his reaction, obviously just, trying to go up there, but he has to wait. But the referee is saying we're going to go for a full-on scrum, but pressure coming in, and this time the scrum is willing. Whoa, what a line! What a line by the outside center of Old Hararians. A bouncing pass to the outside center. And the foot race is on. They are chasing. But it looks like player number 23 is there to cover on. He picks up the ball under pressure. And Old Hararians players are piling pressure on that breakdown. Kichama Jackson, he picks it up. But it's being brought down right on the 22-meter mark. Joshua with great service tries to attract blind and a grabber kick. Oh my God, it was charged down and the Old Hararians player, he spills it forward.
Oh, well, after that passage of play, Old Hararians had actually, against the Rhino play, almost gotten an opportunity to level matters. But there again, they knocked it on. And all Georgians will breathe a huge sigh of relief here because they had kind of dug themselves into a bit of a hole. However, the advantage to this is not yet over. With all Georgians having to use their 8th man as a flanker, you kind of feel that the pivot of the scrum, particularly at the back, will be quite difficult to maintain and deal with. So all Georgians have got the responsibility of trying to get the ball into the scrum quickly out and get it to any one of their kickers, whether it's going to be the fly half at 10 or maybe someone like Tinoru Sike, who also has got a decent boot on him. Now, here comes the scrum. Dylan Gamil. There we go. Ball does come out quickly. Rusike decides to go into contact. A very, very interesting decision. But anyway, they decide to use Tigere's boot, and Tigere does pretty much enough. And, well, a couple of bounces does make it in, and because of the touch out there, play will not continue. So, good kick out of the red zone, but very, very interesting to find out what was Rusike doing in his red zone, trying to run into contact there. Anything could have gone wrong.
He was isolated. 3 defenders were around him. I mean, that is, foolishness being displayed there at its highest level. This is where you had all the time in the world. Clear out your lines, relieve pressure. But look, he's playing number 10. He's also playing inside center. So sometimes it gets confused, So it's some of these things that the coaches need to look at, where you just need to identify one position where a player needs to execute one skill. Right there, I don't know if he was thinking that he was playing as a 10 or as a 12. But a high up and under, it looks like Sharma Jackson is under it and tries to run around. Great application of the law, but he's isolated, and the OH are going to help him out of the field. So another cynical play again. The referee goes straight in his pocket. He will not have it. You need to keep those tackles clean. I think that it was a little bit high, and hence the referee is now going into his pocket. Look, the idea was right, but you need to do it legally. We all know that the man in the middle is a no-nonsense ref. He wants the rugby to be played nice and clean. And this time around, he's just lucky to escape with a warning and a little bit of, a side eye. Next time I catch you, you're going to the sin bin, or even worse. But Tigere to clear off his lines. Did he find touch there? No. Oh, my word. Oh, my word. It bounced right before him. Oh, my word. So, Wayne Malandu, ex-Zim under 18 academy player, with his hooker chose. Hopefully this time around you find the jumper. Well, the jumper is going to secure the ball. But look at the way that the back line of Old Georgians is standing. Noadike is occupying that first receiver position. But this time around he butchered it. It's not in straight. And so it looks like he's shocked. But the touch guy says no. That ball wasn't in straight. But talking about the crowd here at Prince Edward, it's good to see that all the bays are filled. And there are some who are watching this game standing. And the only bay that's not occupied, the Mkuru Bay, from where we are directly sitting. But everywhere else, it's fully occupied. And just coming back to what's happening on the field of play, Old Hararians with a defensive scrum. And already the scrum half is looking hopelessly to fire. And long arm penalty being awarded there to OH players, all Georgians players, just coming on offside.
Oh yes, so it is a penalty, and Old Hararians. And so just 1 minute left for the boys to get back on, who are in the sin bin. A huge hoof upfield, but just before the halfway mark. Has been a bit of a good run around. I've always wondered, the levels of fitness required by a referee. I think they're quite massive, because you really need to run around more than the players. They tend to run around in one direction, whilst you're running around in both directions to try and make sure you've got an eye on everything going on. So tough job for a ref, but good nonetheless. And well, the ball goes all the way to the back, a couple of hits, and finally goes down. Ball comes out, Kamvumbi. Oh, big hit. Has broken through. He keeps going. I think he's going to make it, and it's try time for Old Hararians. And they're back in it. It's a 10 points apiece. But what a run from their number 12. Once he broke that defensive line, he kept on going, and he was simply unstoppable, Sydney.
Look, he wasn't unstoppable. Was attacking that line at full pace. It's difficult, to get, him down. A player of such a build, it's really difficult to bring him down. But once again, poor defense by Old Georgians. Where was Tino? That was his man. All of the time, you need to look at where your opposite number is. He had to do that looping run, and there was a mismatch on the outside. He just crashed over and dived over for that try line. So Old Hararians, no. This time around, the scores are level, pending a conversion. Kamvumbi to add the extras. And Kamvumbi, can he find? Oh no, he missed. So it's now 10 point apiece. And it's only 20 minutes in the first half. What a match that we have here, Rimbo, on our hands. But let's talk about another player with a big build, that number 8 from Old Hararians. He's limping because he has been working really hard in that number 8 position. Big carries. But it seems as if he's begging his coach. He's just begging his coach, could you please just give me a break, but just coming back. So all Georgians had the last touch. So it looks like it's going to be a line-out throw to OH. So they are being asked, what option do you need? They are going to get a scrum right on the 50-meter mark.
Yes, indeed. Sydney has been a very interesting first half. The good thing about it is that they didn't size each other tactically and try and square each other up. What they looked for was very simple. You've got to get points on the board as early as possible, apply pressure against the opposition so that we can push forward. And so far, both sides have been able to get the points on the board, but they've also done it with a bit of a casualty, so to speak, in terms of getting yellow cards. That indiscipline doesn't work. And that is a chase upfield. Tigere gets onto it, and penalty. And it's a penalty given. Looked like a high tackle. And Kamvumbi has gotten the ball. In my view, in this level of rugby, at this point, you could even go for post.
He could even go for post, but I'm not sure that he has that confidence. I'm not sure that it's favoring his boot, but he just decided to go for a touch, which is not a bad decision after all. And they're looking to power pressure, especially on that 22-meter mark, where they are going to get that line-out throw. If that line-out throw is perfect, you know what's coming, the rolling more. And it's hard to stop a rolling more at that stage. So it's something that, they are really thinking about. I just think it's good game management, because what you don't want is you miss the post and now you're under pressure. Your defense is in 6s and 7s. And, from out of nothing, you might concede. But good game management from Old Hararians. So the hooker, perfect line-out throw. And he gets, unfortunately rather, not in straight is the call. So we've seen this a lot. And not in straight calls and not in the ball. Hookers not finding their jumpers. Or hookers just, throwing that ball not in straight. So is that not Nwadike on the ground? It looks like all Georgians, they might lose a key player. It looks like Nwadike, we are going to be confirming. No, it's not Nwadike. It's that big lad, that loose head prop. But it's good to see that he's up on his feet. Just building to what you're anticipating, a big game, possibles versus probables. Green versus red. That is the Sables or the team that you obviously have got a big assignment coming up. Africa Cup Rugby Part 2. The other one, we won it, but this time around, World Cup qualification, and as well as these youngsters, and some of these youngsters, I'm pretty positive that we are watching as of now on the field of play. They're going to be selected for the Under-20 Bathurst Trophy that we need to qualify, obviously, for the Junior World Trophy. But Joshua, to feed the ball in a defensive scrum, can he find Tino? Oh, he finds a gap and he releases Manjakara, who's trying to get in that second gear, and great cover defense by Marasta. And it is a knock-on. Desperate defense. That should have gone for was a grabber kick. A grabber kick, however, since you are not on the field of play, you don't see what these players see. So it's going to be a defensive scrum.
I know exactly what I am seeing, Sydney. That was as good as they come. A beautiful line break, no question about it. Played really well to get into that position. But once he got there and he couldn't quite see the support around him, a grabber kick was going to be in the offing. Now look, if the grabber kick had gone over the dead ball line, what was the worst that could happen? In-goal dropout?
He wanted a try. He was looking for that assist. But the runners, it seems as if they just took their eyes off the ball. Now all Georgians are being forced to make a substitution. Rather, it's a blood sub. So the lucid prop there is just bleeding water right under his lower lip. But it looks fine. He just wants a sip of water. Maybe that, big boys, they usually run off gas quickly. He just wants that quick water break before halftime.
With as brutal a game as this is, I would have wanted to be subbed. But look, he's done very well. He's gone back in. It shows you how much heart there is in there and what they really want out of this game. And that's really good to actually see. But looks like one of the players who was on the ground and was in need of medical attention. Looks like he has come back. So Old Hararians have really done well to get back into the match. Slipped a little bit early on, but now the entire game is stabilized and it's on a knife edge. I can tell you, Hickman, as well as Jerry Jaravaza, as well as Shelton Chuswa and Tishafara Makwanya right now, we would say are having a very, very upset tummy, I would say. In terms of what is going on. Kamvumbi steps inside and out, gives it to his fullback. They decide to run the ball down the line, and again was looking for just what we would say a snazzy pass, a nice and what can I say, a delicate touch, but that's not exactly what was needed. It was simple basics. Just ship it off to the next man, and it looks like we've got a penalty. And so referee is going to have a chat with PK. PK is the vice captain. It was good to see the co-captain Emmanuel Gabi being in the side. But unfortunate that we aren't seeing him today. Also, his other co-captain, Tadionashe Unganai, he played a very huge role in getting Old Georgians back into the game and ultimately getting them over the line for a win. Definitely brought a lot of changes in that regard. So, that quick switch which had been made for the injury now has been switched back. Going for a big kick and has gained some decent meters. But for Old Hararians now, as we're getting closer and closer to the halftime break, what kind of a plan would you be talking about, Sydney, if you were Shelton as well as Tich Makwanye?
Look, too much. I think both teams are playing expansive rugby. There's that need to control the game. game management is very, very important. Both teams are playing running rugby, which is a bit of that's why the scores are level, because they're playing similar rugby. Now there's one need for one to sort of inject an antidote, and there goes the halftime buzzer. So Rimbo, we just need to go for a break. When we come back, we'll give them the remainder of the second half, all right, here on Sports Extra.
So ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the second half of this encounter. 10 points apiece between eternal rivals, Old Hararians and Old Georgians. Now, Old Hararians had to come back into the match, and that's a great charge down to show that they've come back into the match with a desire, a hunger, and more importantly, Sydney, the desire to win. As we mentioned before, this game meaning two different things to two different sides. But ultimately, the goal is one, and that is to make sure they make it to the semi-finals next weekend.
Yes, indeed, Rimbo. Both teams playing out for their lives. But this time around, Wayne Malandu just getting his throw right this time around and finding jumpers and coming back. The ball was sent to the line, right to the hands of Tino, who does what he used to do, does best, that is going into contact. And I think they might overplay it there. They need to clear off their lines. Ball sent to Tigere, who does a show and go. He breaks the line. And great contestation on the breakdown, but Joshua sends it down to Tino. And here comes Old Georgians on the loose. Oh, my word. It looks like it was a forward pass, Rimbo. Old Georgians doing everything right. Or rather, they ran out of turf there. So, after doing everything right, that's back in our days, that's where you used to do that switch. You remember that switch, that move we used to call a scissors, just to to bring the play back in, but coming back to that line out, it was perfectly taken, and Joshua sends it to Tino, to Shama Jackson. Shama Jackson with a no-look pass, and now he got Tigere under pressure and offside. A good call by the referee, quickly taken by the fullback of Old Hararians. And right there, they did not retreat. Manyakara, he needs to release that young lad. OH still on advantage. So first infringement, that's where we are going to go back. And my word, is going to have a chat with the third judge. No. So this time he's just going to be lenient and instruct all Georgians to go 10 meters, but OH call for a scrum.
Well, look, maybe Kamvumbi not feeling too confident with his boot, but I would have also pushed him to try and go for posts. I know the reservations that Sydney has with going for posts. If you're found with your defense in absolute disarray, you can be punished. But one of the other things as well that I do feel all Georgians need to make a bit of a change in is maybe to get PK on the outside and not on the inside. And again, that running line, but Tino Rusike manages to stop his man. This time round, I think Sydney must be a bit happier.
Well, it's good to see that, he's defending. Defending is part of the game. And you can't be just someone who's used to carrying the ball. You also need to defend when the time comes. So Kamvumbi just calls for the post. Can they get those extra 3 points, to stretch their lead? This has been a very, very tight game right from the onset, Rimbo. If he can get those 3 extra points, it's going to help them in a very big way.
Well, definitely. And I agree with you. Well, finally, the post option has been taken, and so that's a good, and it will help and do a world of good for Old Hararians if they are to get those 3 points and just put the cat amongst the pigeons if Old Georgians goes behind. Kamvumbi, and he gets it right. So Old Hararians now get into the lead, 13 points to 10. And surely that's a little bit of daylight between themselves and Old Georgians. But I must also go on to talk about how I feel that Shondo has been really, really good in terms of his running lines, playing as an outside center.
So Tigere with a restart kick, but we're just waiting for the impact players to come on. Takudzwa Mandiambira, the hard running inside center. I think he's about to get, part of this action. So Tigere, he finds Kamvumbi. Kamvumbi looks for the fullback, who's attacking at pace. Oh, good. But oh no, the blindside flanker, that's not what you're supposed to do. In those incidents, you need to ship it out. But it's good to see that that Mo is still going forward. So, scrum to all Georgians. But let's talk about Rimbo. Let's talk about that earlier, passage of play with that blind flanker from Old Hararians, just failing to apply the basic skills, ball handling skills. He got into contact, the ball was in the wrong hand. He had two options. It's either you crash with the loose shoulder and then you offload the ball, or just to do the simplest basic thing, just ship that ball out.
Oh yes, 100%. He had a free man as well on the outside that maybe just could have gone for that pass, maybe gotten a grabber through or a kick over the top, whichever way. Quite a number of options. But then again, as you mentioned, sometimes maybe if we were to wear the jersey and get in there, we would do something absolutely different. But Old Georgians, I think, must be commended for that play there, managing to understand the situation, holding the man up and getting it going. Sydney, once again, the scrum for Old Georgians are found wanting, and now we can see Takudzwa Mandiambira. He's now going into it. A lot of power and force as he goes down to a Tigere tackle. Oh, that is lovely, skillful play from Old Hararians. Kamvumbi is made of magic, I tell you, the way that he was able to spot that pass. But anyway, a penalty found there. Shama Jackson is now on the run, but he's taken down. And Shama Jackson was about to build some steam, but not finding the gaps that he would usually find as usual. So, and that is exactly what comes the difference between schoolboy and under-20 rugby.
Look, as a winger, there are times that you just need to step inside out, use your feet, try to beat a defender. And that's one aspect of his game that is lacking. He just runs through the defense, and that frustrates me. He's gifted with pace, and of course, his height is good. But as a winger, you need to learn to step in and out, try to beat a defender. And as for him, he just runs through into the defense, and sometimes it is clumsy play, to be honest. But just coming back to what is happening on the field of play, all Georgians on the attack. Now they're about to set themselves up for a rolling Mo.
right, so all Georgians managed to get back into the lead, 15 points to 13. Conversion unsuccessful, and Old Hararians having to do the work all over again, having come from behind early on in the second half. All Georgians really want this. TK, really strong run, good meters. Dylan Gamil, I will continuously say, has been the X factor in terms of getting Old Georgians' ball to move, and surely that is a scrum. Well, I am still very limited in terms of my referee signs, but nonetheless, it's going to be a scrum to Old Hararians. So
Oh no. So we're going to come back for the first infringement. That is I believe it is offside is the call. And the referee stops the time. And OH introduced player number 23, and the player number 20 comes on for Old Georgians. Just to get that fresh pair of legs on the field of play. So OH on the advantage. Tip quick. Oh, how did he offload that? So OH using their big boys. And the poor body positioning, it looks like it's being sandwiched there. And all Georgians players are over the ball, and it is a scrum. Poor body positioning. And all Georgians players now, they congratulate themselves, giving themselves a high five. You know, doing what the coaches told them to do in those incidents. Now another player coming on in the back line. Player number 14. Oh no, Joshua, it looks like he's coming off. Now not Joshua, it's Dylan Gamil. Has just been corrected. And now Old Georgians, they'll be forced to make another substitution. It looks like one of their players incurred a head injury. So he's coming off World Rugby protocols, concussion protocols to be specific. He had an absolute game. That is Dylan now coming off. I believe it's now a tactical substitution. So play resumes. It looks like a player who was on the wing is now come on to the scrum half. Oh, what a pass in search of that young lad who just came on, and he breaks free. Does he have enough in the tank to go all the way? But it's being, I think he slipped and fought in that scenario. A quick ball to Notenda. Oh my word, poor pass. But however, his teammate showing great pair of hands. Penalty. Quickly taken. And the Old Hararians are not 10. And it is try time.
Oh well, here we go. And so Old Georgians have Old Georgians have extended their lead now to 20 points to 13. And it looks like Old Hararians have been given a yellow card. Tigere will slot that one in all day long. And that means it's a 22-13. And with that lead building up now, it really makes life very difficult. Look, for all intents and purposes, Sydney, I did say Old Georgians came back a much more improved side today, much better working unit, and I think it had sunk in that the possibility of not making it to the semi-final was very possible. But nonetheless, Old Hararians do still have an opportunity to try and make things happen. That's a clean take. And so that is a penalty. And it's against Old Georgians. Well, Tigere is being led to run here. And I think the frustration and disappointment of not being able to get their decisions to go their way really frustrated Old Hararians into poor decision making. Well, there comes the big front rower, but isolated run, and the ball is going to be grabbed away by Sharma Jackson, and surely that's a penalty. So it's going to be a penalty. And now, look, at under 20 level, we've seen this happening at high school level, Sydney. Penalties are given here, and we've seen them booted and some of them slotted. Surely at under 20 level, we should be able to see more of that, especially where desperate times call for desperate measures. Old Hararians are trailing right now by 9 points. It's 22-13 in favor of Old Georgians. You need to trim that scoreboard pressure somehow, some way. If you get a 3 in, all of a sudden, you're just looking for one converted try, and it becomes a bit better. Oh, that's a good hit. But Mandiambira loses possession. That was also a big hit on PK Manyakara. And the substitute there is just making really good meters. Ever since he's come on, he's really applied some good, strong pressure Rusike decides to swing it. Substitute number 20 there held up. And it comes back to wrong body positioning, as always mentioned by Sydney Savanu. Oh, that's a lovely step inside. PK Manyakara steps back inside. Nwadike decides to go into contact with it. I don't think there was any way he was going to offload it anyway. Oh, that's a lovely sidestep. Who has ever seen a forward do a sidestep? It's a thing of beauty, I tell you. Rusike decides to take a hit himself. Trying to play the ball quick there. And that is offside. And coming through the side, it's a quick tap and go. They're not back 10. And referee does allow play to stop. 22-13. Old Hararians staring down the barrel just a little bit here. But what is certain is that regardless of the result that may come out here, Old Hararians still are primed to make it into the semi-final stage. It's just maybe not in the position that they would love to be in. But Sid, a quick tap and go. Wayne Kuraimnashe offloads it. And the fly-off again.
It's just dancing and dancing. Try time. He got a hat-trick. Hat-trick hero for all Georgians. My word. My word. It looks like they are having some big trouble defending against that dreadlocked number 10 from all Georgians. I told you, he's attacking that ball at space. It's just what he's like, just looking into. He's just exploiting space. And right there, he was just forced maybe to use a little bit of power and just to crash over. But Tigere to add the extras on and to get the conversion. This time around he misses, but still it is now incredible. 27 points to 13. Marasta with a lot of work to do. So now, but let's talk, Rimbo, let's talk about that tactical substitution. You know, Dylan just coming off and using the winger as the number 9. It seems as if it's working for all Georgians.
Oh yes, most definitely. And I think the quick ball initially that they got pretty much within the first half really helped apply some of the pressure. And now that they've been able to build momentum and see a game plan that works, it is really going on well for them. Of course, there is a substitution that is coming off. Tigere is the man who is coming off. I think he has been much better with the boot today, much better with this play at a couple of meters as well that he was able to run through breakthroughs and carries. A much better Tigere. This is the Tigere that we all know and that we all expect.
Look at him, his composure under high ball, his composure as well. The way that he dealt with those grabber kicks. That's what you want from a fullback, who does not leak points whenever he's isolated. Whenever he sees a high ball, you know, he deals with it. He deals those grabber kicks, but he has been exceptional for his team. Now coming back to what's happening now on the field of play. A big shove coming in from Old Hararians, and it looks like it is illegal scrumming by Marasta, and oh no, discipline is going to cost them an extra 10 yards right straight. And here comes the ever-running Nwatike like a train. He's difficult to stop. From nowhere, he gets 15 points. 15 yards, rather. And the referee says play on. Players are still fighting for the ball. And already the referee arm is out. He sticks it out in favor of all Georgians. And it looks like the wheels are coming off, Rimbo, for the team that is in white and green kit.
Oh yes, for Marasta, it seems like Marasta are coming loose at the end of it all. And I think at the end of the day, the importance of it all is the fact that all Georgians knew what had to be done today. And that was to pick up the win. Leading 27 points to 13 right now just allows all Georgians to have the comfort of now forcing errors like we are seeing right now against Old Hararians. And with the yellow card, it just makes play so difficult for Old Hararians to go through. And maybe in a distance, you might be seeing the Sables red that are now coming. Here comes the fly off, pops it over the top, and it's a try time for PK. And surely that's the final nail in the coffin. 32 points to 13 with a conversion yet to come. Well, Sydney, unfortunately, a game that we expected to end on a 1-pointer or 2-pointer is now ending off with a scoreline which doesn't truly reflect what kind of a game this was.
Rimbo, but look, let's talk about that little number 10 in the dreadlocks. You know, I mean, hat-trick of tries with an assist. I mean, it's just elegant to watch. I mean, the way he applies himself in those high-pressure situations, you know, just helping his team to get over the line. Remember, Old Hararians scored first in this encounter, but Old Georgians just coming back, you know, running riot to score an incredible 5 tries. You know, it's something that is, I mean, when the OH technical team, when they look at this change of kicker, and there we go, the conversion is good. Now they stretch off their lead. I believe it's now
34. It's now 34-13.
So 34-13. It's almost over now for the team in green and white kit. They are missing 2 players in their ranks. They are on the sin bin. And now all Georgians, they're just exploiting that numerical advantage. Now as you see it, player number 21 coming on that scrum half department. I don't know if that is going to be enough for this team in green and white to come back.
Well, I think there's just too much to do. 21 points, that's 3 converted tries that are needed in the space of a few minutes. And it's a good take by the... Oh! The fullback is really dicey. He goes for a grabber. A decent idea, but unfortunately this time round it goes into touch. But that was really good play, really inventive from him as well, being able to spot the gap in behind and try and do that. That's something you want to see fullbacks and wingers, even centers as well, being able to do whenever they find themselves in a place where no support is available nearby. Get the grabber in, gain some distance, force the opposition on the back foot.
But let's talk about that step, Rimbo. You know, pretending to go right and then all of a sudden change of direction, and he almost fooled everyone, including us in the commentary box, Rimbo. But what a step. But however, coming back to what's happening on the field of play, Wayne, oh, big tackle coming in. But still OH are in possession of the ball, looking for that momentum, trying to look for that pick and go. The body positioning is poor, but Gabriel, the gentleman who's in charge of this game, his referee, his arm is out already, you know, favoring Marasa this time around. So quickly taken by the substitute scrum half. Now they are looking to use their forwards to punch through the back line, but all Georgians just fighting. And here comes a little bit of fake and go. Oh my God. Oh my word. Oh my word. But however, they still have another opportunity because they still have that advantage, rather that penalty, and they call for a scrum. They call for a scrum, Rimbo.
Breathless this is what I can say. Left breathless there. Now look, whilst the number of decisions have not necessarily gone the way of Old Hararians, I must also point out to the fact that they have also spurned and butchered a couple of their own chances right there. A knock-on in the first half, we saw that, and a knock-on here in the second half in the 22 of the opposition. You can't afford to do that if you intend to remain in a game. Now if those both were converted, guess what? It would have been a 1 converted try game right now. But anyway, for Old Hararians right now, it looks like we're going to have a front rower who's going to come on, because we did get the substitute. We did get the substitute being yellow carded. He's in the sin bin. Anyway, here comes the scrum. Ball comes out nice and clear. Kamvumbi, he's there looking for the pass. Well, I feel there was far too many red jerseys on this side to have gone for that. Oh, great running line. Looking for the pick and go, not the smartest idea. And great work by Old Georgians in defense. Kamvumbi. Well, that's a penalty. Yellow carded to Old Georgians, and that makes it even Stevens in terms of the sin bin. But not so sure how effective that yellow card will be in the context of the current situation. They need 3 converted tries in a very short space of time. Shondoa decides to go for the hit. Now deciding to go around the fringes. Ball comes out. Again, not enough momentum to cause a dent in the Old Georgians' armory. Now looking to go through. Again taken down. Old Georgians looking for that try, and they find it. They kept on with the phases, and it's paid off.
Look, they should have stuck to that game plan. You know, they were dominating the forwards. They should have stuck to that game plan. You know, give their forwards that go forward ball. When it comes to these red zones, they apply that pressure through the pick and goes. Now I think it's a bit too late for them, but however, it's something that they're going to look at when they go back to the drawing board. But another player has been sent on the sin bin. It's an Old Georgians player. Now it makes it interesting because now both teams are now standing on 14 men on the field of play. Kamvumbi, he misses. I just felt that he was too casual. He should just went with his foot and, try to do that follow through. 34-18 is the scoreline. And here we are. Any moment from now, the man in the middle is going to blow a full-time whistle. And obviously, all these guys are looking and anticipating for that, the probables versus the possibles. Whoever wins, Zimbabwe Sabres wins. So, the restart kick, it is short and high, but Manyakara, what a player. He contested for that ball, Wimbo, and he secured, but pressure coming in from Arasta. I think they were off their feet, but the referee says side entry is the call. Quickly taken by the short scrum half, and right to Kamvumbi. Kamvumbi releases his back row player. OH now playing an expansive game plan, just looking to reduce their areas. The scrum half goes short side and a grabber kick. It is still a ball, the ball is still available. Oh, it's almost there, 50-50. Did he score? The referee, he has no choice but to award the try.
Is there a turnaround here, Sydney? We did say they needed 3 converted tries. They've got 1 try out of the way, not the conversion. They've got the second try out of the way. They need a conversion. It's now 34-23 at the moment. With a conversion, it would be 34-25. But still a lot of work to do. Kamvumbi goes quickly for it. Can he get it straight? He gets it. He gets it. Whoa. Oh, this is tough. But that brings us to the end. And unfortunately, the comeback trail has been cut short by the referee. And Old Georgians come out of this encounter 34-25. And congratulations to Old Georgians. They came into this fixture. We said it time and time again. They knew what they needed. They knew what they wanted. And they got it. And that was a win. And with that, Old Georgians means Old Georgians are in the top 4, and that is going to complete the top 4 for this week, or going into the semi-final stage. Right on top, Pitbulls are still undefeated. Old Hararians have suffered 2 defeats, of course, at the hands of Pitbulls and at the hands of Old Georgians. And then you've got Old Georgians who had a torrid time within the season, winning against the small sides and then losing against Pitbulls, losing against Steelers. And, it was proving to become difficult, but they've won a massive game, and this should give them a world of confidence. Zambezi Steelers will be looking on and saying, well, the big boys have showed up today. Let's see if they show up next week.
Yes, indeed, Rainbow is going to be number 1 versus number 4, number 2 and 3. So in this scenario, Old Hararians have just secured that number 4 spot. It means that come semi-final time, it is going to be them and the Steelers. We will be giving you that live action right here in Sports Extra. But from me, Sydney Sawan and Ruimbo Chakoreka, stay tuned as we bring you another interesting game. Red versus white. Versus green.